Thanks for staying with us. Now, according to the Daily Trust, the Lagos state government announced on Monday the shutdown of all Chrisland schools in the state following an alleged sexual violation involving some pupils during an international trip. The alleged sexual violation happened when Chrisland School was in Dubai in March to take part in the World School Games, a 4-day annual competition with schools from all over the world. Now, the news of the alleged sexual violation came to the fore when Ubi Franklin, a talent manager, accused the school of complicity in the sexual violation involving the minor and another male pupil. The state government disclosed that the allegations of sexual violence involving students of Chrisland School are being investigated by the relevant ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, including the Ministry of Education, Office of Education Quality Assurance, and the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, as well as Ministry of Justice and the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency. The state government therefore reminded the general public that anyone who engages in any visual depiction of sexually explicit conduct involving a child commits an offense and is liable to custodial sentence of 14 years. This includes producing, distributing, receiving, or possessing an image of a child. The initial narrative of this story was that the alleged rape of this minor, but however, the sex tape indicates that she may have already been sexually exposed, which raises a lot of questions. We're analyzing the part of parents, the school, and the government in raising morally right individuals and how to prepare and protect them from the negativity of the world. Please let's hear what you will have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 0818-038-4663. You can tweet to us at WayShowsAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. So ladies, our banter for today is about analyzing the Chrisland School Underage sex saga. And when I was listening to this story, I was all kinds of emotions. I have a background as a family life practitioner, right? I've gone through that training and with my knowledge of neuro-linguistics programming as well. So it was like when I saw it, all of that training came back to the fore. And I'm passionate about children, I'm passionate about women, and anything that concerns them gets my antennas up. I was saddened, extremely saddened by this news. I went as far as not even watching the movie because I said movie, actually the video, because I have seen too many that I'm yet to declutter from my mind, especially when it concerns underage human beings. Now we have a situation of a young girl who was videoed, and this tape or video went viral, and all kinds of atrocities. I was following it on social media, so I heard all sorts of things about the video, which I do not even want to mention because it's a minor that's involved. But I want to hear our take on, first of all, our general take on this situation that is involving a minor. Before we go to the in-depth, we know that teenagers can be immature. We know that teenagers can be impulsive. Yeah, so she's even preteen.
She's preteen.
She's preteen. So both preteens and teenagers are in that age where their curiosities are aroused. So they want to know, they want to explore, and they find themselves in a very media forward world where every and anything goes. Then you have the aspect of parenting. Then you have the aspect of society. Then you have the aspect of the government and all of that. We'll get into all of that. Yeah. But first of all, I just want to know what your take on this situation was. When you heard the scandal, what did you think? Who will I start with?
Let me go first. Okay. So when I heard about it, I was sad
And for some reason, my heart was racing really fast, you know, during that time. And the reason is because, I mean, aside from being a mental health advocate, I mean, like you, I've had, you know, conversations and sessions with both male and female, and I've heard their stories on how, you know, they were abused as children. For me, I know somebody would have introduced this child to this thing. And you know how as an adult, we as we're here right now, when we talk about sex or we talk about this type of conversations, and we're like, nobody taught us how to do what or what to do well. We just grew up and nobody, like, it's a taboo to have this conversation. So imagine this child being exposed to maybe pornography or maybe exposed to sex at an early age, and she doesn't, I mean, at the time it would have happened to her, she probably doesn't have anybody to talk to. And then being secretive about those kind of things would, you know, generate some more thoughts that you can't share. And at the time, as a young child of, God knows when it started, so let's assume now 10 years old. Now that she's 10 years old, I'm just wondering the number of, you know, crazy thoughts that would have come through her mind before that incident that was even taped. Who knows how much other things that has even happened to her before. And I'm really sad because she's 10. And she doesn't even know what's even happening, even though the world is talking about this situation at the moment. My worry is, how is she going to come out of this situation? Because the drama and the trauma that she has gone through at this time, I'm actually trying to hold myself back because it's really emotional for me. And I am really concerned about how she's going to get help. Because if at the age of 10, you've been exposed to pornography, you've been exposed to sex, what else is going through her mind? Because right now that she's supposed to be focusing on her education and trying to develop herself, I'm just wondering where is the fixing going to start from? Okay. So I mean, I'm just in a bit, I don't know who else is looking at me. I'm just I'm a bit emotional and confused, and I'm just wondering, how can this girl get help? Because there's a lot we can actually talk about, but the most important point is about help. How is she going to get over this? So I mean.
Okay.
Glory.
When I heard about this, I had lots of questions. First off, the role of the parents, the role of the school, the society as a whole. I feel like we've gone past the point of just teaching sex education. It's also about morals. Now, if you expose a child to say, do not have sex at this, protect yourself from this, at what point do you start saying, okay, at this time, this is the right time to start? When is the right time to start? So those I feel like the society is focusing a lot about just sex education and less on morals too. So now when you start telling a child about sex, the child gets curious and wants to know more. So if you don't differentiate, okay, this is the time you're even supposed to start thinking about this properly. This is just for you to know so that if anything goes wrong, this is where you can raise an alarm. But aside this is when you should start thinking of, this is the age you should even start thinking of, talking about boyfriends and everything. This is just for your general knowledge to know when it's going wrong. Now, when it comes to children growing up, what are they exposed to? Social media is there. Personally, I'm just wondering, why would I want to have a 9-year-old kid exposed to social media? It's a huge, because you can't really control what they get to see. Like, you can do your assignments, there should be restrictions. And so I have so many questions, so many things have gone wrong in which went unnoticed from my own point of view. Even from the side of the school, from the parenting side, it's just a whole lot. It's a whole lot.
I heard that she has some kind of followership on Likey, some app
I didn't
on
even
Likey.
know that social media existed. I mean,
there are a lot of social media platforms young people are involved in now, doing all kinds of things. But let me hear what Elsie has to say. Elsie has gone cold all of a sudden.
So your question is, what was my first reaction, right? I mean, when I saw, like yours is you didn't watch the video, right?
No, I didn't even have to watch it to know what had gone.
I deliberately did not follow the story for my own piece, but unfortunately, social media still
came up.
You still see
snippets.
Yeah. So I see it, I scroll past. I wasn't going to invest myself in it for my own mental health and my own peace, right? Which is why I said I'm glad I'm not hosting today. because I can't.
Thank you for the
So well
help.
But just to touch on what she said regarding sex education, I think there was like a mix up there. When you say sex education, there are levels to it. What you're telling a 3-year-old, 4-year-old,
it's totally
5-year-old,
different from an 8 to a teenager to an adult.
So I don't think anybody's going to start telling a 10-year-old about reverse cowgirl or whatever I see. I hear talking about. So I think we need to understand that part of sex education. It's an all-encompassing conversation from understanding your body, which is where it actually comes from as a child.
Absolutely.
And then understanding that you shouldn't be touched
There
in a
are
certain
boundaries.
way, understand your boundary, how to carry yourself, how to behave in society, and even morals comes into sex education.
Yes.
So I just wanted to correct that part. And of course, yes, a child is not supposed to be on social media. Even when you read the terms and conditions for social media, it's supposed to be 18-year-old. So it means that there has been a gap in parenting, and like I always say sometimes, I mean, I know that a lot of parents are neglecting their role these days, but there are parents too that if you tell them now to sit down and check, if there's like a checklist to say this is how to be a good parent, which unfortunately there isn't none. Parenting is something that everybody gets into as a novice, right? If you said there's a checklist, there are people who have checked all those lists, and unfortunately they still have a child that will make them look like, oh, you are a bad parent, right? But there was something I saw which I just want to read out while the whole noise is going on, because there's something I always say on this show. Whenever there are things that now come on social media and it's really amplified, I try to make us remember that it might be sensitive or insensitive to some people, but there's nothing really new under the sun, right? And the only difference right now is that we have social media. And it means that somebody can be doing something in Abuja and I'm in Lagos and I know about it because there is social media. We are now in a global village. It's just really small by the day. In fact, why am I saying Abuja? You can be in the United States of America and do something and I know about it right here. And 20 years before now, right, that couldn't have been. You can even do what you do here and I'm there, like behind the studio, and I don't know anything about it because that was what the world was then. But right now it's changed. And I saw this submission, I think it was from Adenike Oyetunde. She's a broadcast journalist as well. She said, I remember the bad girls in my set. I sure do. They did things. They did a lot of things, from stories of non-stop partying to stories of drinking, orgies, committing abortions with hangers, but no social media to circulate the stories. We have and know families with children fighting addictions to different things. It is a war. Pastors' kids join to make the stories intriguing. We read some of the pages of City People. We read some on the pages of City People. These girls will be fine. Very fine, actually. Nothing she has done or we do is new. This again is a reminder that parenting is so easy until it is your turn. I pray the redemptive grace of God over every child whose parents earnestly desire and desperately working towards that. Amen. So it was important for me to take this just to buttress what I said, because I know we are at a place where anything that comes on social media now, we're also hypocritical.
Quick to judge.
We all want to scream, we all want to shout, we all want to judge. Don't be surprised that some people that are judging already has a child that's probably younger than this girl and doing worse and they don't even know. But all I'm saying is we all just need to sit back as a society and look for ways to do things better. Has society failed? Yes, I agree. Chrisland as a school, have they failed? Yes, I actually agree that they failed. But we also need to now begin to look at the important things that we need to pick out, which is, of course, how she can get help, how things can be done better. This was not even filmed in Nigeria.
How we can prevent.
From what I heard.
They were still in Dubai.
And let's not forget that this child is a brilliant child. From what I read to or saw, she went to represent the school over there because she's very for you to be representing a school in such competition, then you need to understand what kind of mind she has. So yes, there is also that understanding that maybe because she's sexually active, she might not be paying attention to education, but that now rules that out again because she is that brilliant to go over there. So I think that she needs all the help she can get. I think that conversations like this should not just be a frenzy conversation. I like that we do that on Ways a lot because we bring people who talk about parenting, what we should know and whatnot. And I think that as time goes on,
we're going to elaborate on this further with experts in the house
that could help parents also be able to track their kids. I know it's hard. which is why I like what Adenike said. Sometimes it's easy for you to speak because you are not the one in the center of the issue, right? When it is you, then you understand that really, at the end of the day, now God deceives us. Last.
On that note, let's just go and drink water and come back. We'll take a short break and we'll see you shortly. All right, so if you just tuned in, it's our ladies' night out, and our focus today is analyzing Chrisland School Underage Sex Saga. Please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. You can send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 0818-038-4663, or you can tweet to us at PlusTvAfrica1 with the hashtag #WayShow. Our phone line is now open, so please call us on 0702 500 7749. It's 0702 50 7749. All right, ladies. So I hear you loud and clear. I hear what you're saying. But as we analyze this, my thoughts go towards each of the different areas now. We've talked to a large extent in the place of the child. I want us to be able to just talk before our calls begin to come in. Yeah. The area of parenting. Yeah. I have 4 kids. And those 4 kids are like life to me. I know what each of my children can do. If you say this person did this, I will smile and say, yes, I know. Because I've come to an understanding of my children. I've learned them over the years, and I know what they're capable of and what they're not. I've also seen, I have one who is becoming a teenager this year, and we have seen the transition from preteen and the child era to that semi-adult, feeling like an adult. In fact, he's almost taller than me now, and he's like rubbing shoulders and everything. But behavior, when I saw the video of the mom, and she narrating her story about her child, and there was a part that gave me a little bit of concern when she said that when they called her and said that something happened, that if it was a case of kissing or something, that it was okay.
Is that what she said?
Yes, really? In the video, a part of it mentioned that if it was just that, it was okay, but that they didn't tell her what exactly it was until she heard on social media that what it was. And then later on, I begin to see that this young girl has an app with all sorts of videos that show sexual tendencies, and gestures and all of that. And then this video also comes out, and it is explicit in every way. And from all of the comments I've seen online, the outrage and all of that, I mean, the Nigerians know how to shout the loudest. That's the truth. But in the behind the cupboard, what are you doing there? How many people are really paying attention? So as parents now, so what's from the place of parents? I don't know. Even though you're not parents, but you have guardians.
Fall into this question.
No. There are people who have guardians. I was a parent before I became a parent.
Exactly.
I was a parent before I became a parent because I had opportunity of taking care of my younger ones, and then I had opportunity of taking care of my sister's kids before I had kids. So I have learned and I've grown, right? But there are so many parents who are ignorant. I'm not sure that the mom even knew that there was an app that her daughter was probably had great followership on.
And that's not her fault too.
I'm not saying it's her fault. I'm just narrating, I'm taking her somewhere. And then there are some of all of these things. And then I heard there were some comments or someone who said that from a live situation, that even when the girls saw the videos, that they said, oh, She said, that's me, so what?
Oh,
I saw some comments like that.
Interesting.
So already there's a fundamental problem. So I want us to address that angle of parenting.
Go back to
what
she
Glory
mentioned
said
earlier. So I'm going to use my life story as an example. My mother was the military person in the house, while my father was the
softer,
the liberal
endearing,
one. So
yeah.
if mommy is,
everybody moves to daddy.
Everybody moves to daddy. So there's something that I actually got to realize growing up. My mother was the iron hand in the sense that, like I was just in Elsie, she just hears that, there's one boy that was escorting Alera to wear the kind pankere way you go collect. She would you will ask if you were adopted. That's what my mother, and what I was trying to is,
I think everybody in our age had that conversation.
Every parent should instill the value on the child, because as my mom was always, quick to throw something or, discipline me, my father would sit me down and say, baby girl, these things that you're looking for, you will get to a particular time,
you'll be tired.
And then he explained why. So that's why it comes with parenting, because as a parent, we are still trying to, let me not say we are not a parent yet, but parents are still trying to
discover and find
out
out a lot of
their
things.
own self, how they will, make themselves feel better, or how they become better people, right? Because nobody knows it all. Then imagine you as a parent, you have a child that you know that you're responsible for. The only thing you owe that child basically is for you to instill values and morals on that child as early as possible, because it is what you have taught the child at a very young age that he or she would grow up to learn. So I would say that girl has been neglected in a lot of ways, because we can't really pinpoint where this would have happened.
Yeah.
And we know from stories we've heard how relatives, uncles, aunties, nannies have been the ones abusing, most people. And we have a lot of people that are grown right now. Like Elsie said, there was no social media or internet then that would boost this type of conversations. For me, aside from when we're thinking about how to help the child, we also have to focus on the parenting as well, because this is actually a call for help to all parents, and it's time for every parent to actually take a step back and start to look at what are the values I'm actually imbibing in my child, because those values is what will make or mar the child. Imagine at the age of 10, this girl is going to be in therapy for a very long time.
Of course.
Because with the comments everybody is saying that she doesn't see a problem with it, it means that as an A student who is going for competitions and winning, competitions for her class, she's feeling like, okay, I know I'm doing good in school. So what do you want to tell me? What is it? So it's the value that you have to teach this human being, that they will know that, okay, yes, I'm not supposed to be doing it.
Okay, Elsie, what do you think?
Parenting, right?
Yes.
So I think that we should have more conversations, more seminars about parenting, because
we have School of Parenting. How many parents really go?
Well, I'm hearing that for the first time. Yeah, so that's the point. It is not a public information, right? Like I said, I'm hearing that for the first time, School of Parenting, and that's cool. Again, if you say you have School of Parenting in Nigeria, because everything in Nigeria now a religion, they cover everything. Is it really School of Parenting?
Absolutely.
Or is that a place where you dumb down on the parents to tell them your child must tie her head, your child must
we have a School of Parenting.
Okay. So good. It would be nice for you
yes.
to maybe share that with people towards the end of the show, so that they can look out for that, because I think parenting is a skill that one has to be deliberate about. I also like the part, we all had that experience, like you said, where our parents are really, really hard on us and making us, you begin to wonder. I had that moment where I was wondering,
everybody thought they were adopted, right? Yes.
But there are better ways to do things, right? And I think
the times have changed.
I hope that I have my own children, and one thing I would want to be able to have is friendship with them. Friendship that comes with strictness, but there's that friendship.
Balance.
There has to be a balance. My child has to be able to have conversations with me, right? I need to be able to tell you this is right or this is wrong, and let you understand why, and also give you room to express yourself, and then we'll come to an understanding.
Okay.
I need to be able to know that there's a call, right?
Yes, I think we have a call.
My thoughts there.
All right, I think we have our first call for the evening. Hello, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, you're live.
Yeah, Hello.
Hello, go ahead. You're live.
Yes, I'm Sam.
Okay, Sam, welcome. You're
Where
live.
is my beautiful Hua?
She is on her way. Go ahead.
All right. About the truth of the matter is, we've lost morale in Nigeria all over the world. We've lost morale. In fact, I will say the social media exposed all things now all over the world. If they are listening, I'm sure they know, and we also know we've failed. Where we've got it wrong, I don't, I can't really pinpoint where we got it wrong. Because, take for instance, will you blame the parents that wants to teach their children to know one or two things about ICT? Will you want to fault the parent that will say, no, I'm not going to give you this phone, I'm not going to do this, I want to restrict? Do you know what and what they do outside? And apart from that, the kind of songs on our radio, are they encouraging? Are they the kind of songs that you listen and you want your children, to listen? You find some parents dancing to Knock Me Apako. How do you expect that child to grow? What do you expect from such children? I want all of us to restrict, to take back ourselves, review what we are doing, and killing our society deliberately.
Okay, I think we've lost Sam there, but thank you for your thoughts.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, just to respond to
Elsie,
what you were
yeah.
saying, while we were growing up, we also listened to the man on the do Kere Wawa.
We
And we did that as well.
Yeah.
But then let me just go back to my thoughts before I miss them. I think there has to be strictness and friendship at this stage.
A balance.
Because we also have a situation whereby we have like this generational gap where you have they call them digital natives, and then you are trying to catch up with them. And I have heard the arguments of saying, oh, don't expose them to phone and all that, but is it really possible at this point, right?
Elsie.
And also understand that there are actually tools for you to be able to help those children
To monitor the phones.
Also, while growing up, we heard this a lot where you say, yes, you are the parent, but it takes a village to raise a child. Right? It is a collective.
So where's the community as well?
Now, this is where, and that is the only part where I think of Chrisland, and I'm wondering what happens in that school, because and also what happens in the schools of the elites, because this is not the first case we're having, right?
All right, we have another call. Yes, hello, you're live.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yes. Where's Ua now?
Uwa will soon be back. Okay.
Okay, that's
Go
fine.
ahead.
That's fine.
Yes.
Yeah,
Youngest soul man.
I just want you to understand some things. These days, most of the parents are kind of too busy to look into the fundamentals of parenting. I really like that word that you said. I think the anchor there, that you've been a parent before you've been parenting before you became a parent or something like that. Pardon my English, but I really understand you in that word. I mean, that's true too. I've been a parent because I became a parent, or whatever the English is, but just understand what I'm trying to say. Now, basically, most parents lose it in the middle of trying to please that child and meet up with the requirement of the society, forgetting that some of all these things are bigger than we thought. You see, let me tell you one thing about these phones that we are using. This phone is like having an AK-47 in terms of words. You understand? It can destroy. That is a time bomb. Anything that has to do with gadgets. So for you to give a child a gadget, you have to know how far that child takes his own mindset into concept. You have to study your child. There's one thing we used to speak in Hausa language, that one day maleke hankalenkanshi, meaning somebody that can hold up to his own standard and say no to no. You do test your children. You can even send outsider to give, and you see a child telling, I don't want. My mom said I should not collect. You see the other one collecting. You need to know a child that you release something for. And as a parent, if you cannot be in control of that thing, don't give it to your child. Forget about the schools. Everybody is busy now. A lot of things in the head. You're waiting for the school to come and help you train your pikin. While you are busy going to Dubai and London and New York looking for money, you can't get two things at the same time. You have to, if you want to be a parent, you bring it out head on. Some of us, our parents are so strict to our children, we don't even allow them to get phone until they are 18 or 17. Those that their parents are buying iPhone, whatever, they change iPhone for them per year. They are oppressing our kids and making them look stupid. But I know what I'm doing. Any day I start having time that I can call my child and say, bring your phone, let me have your password. I want to go through your phone. You see that guy holding that phone with fear. But more parents don't have the time. You buy such a kind of gadget. A child will have over 1,000 apps in its phone. And those apps are not even school related. Some parents don't even know how to even go around the phone.
All right.
They don't even know what is Twitter. I asked somebody already, they were saying, somebody saying that you people are tweeting on WhatsApp. Which is a parent that is saying that, which means you don't even know the difference from tweeting and WhatsApping. So the problem is the parents. It's the parents. I don't blame the school.
Thank you, youngest old man.
Or whatever.
Thank you so much, youngest old man. Wow, you had a lot to say this evening. But I hear him loud and clear. I mean, where do the parents become the example that the children also see is very important. And how are parents themselves updating themselves with the times? You cannot use 18th century methods to treat 21st century problems. And once a child is damaged, it's very difficult getting that child to come back to that state of innocence. It will take a whole lot of process. But I want to hear what Glory has to say in a few about parenting.
I totally agree with the last caller. Like, he was just taking the words off my mouth. Why will you give a child a tool and you don't know how to monitor it? So that's really the basis of what I'm saying in terms of phones. Why would you give a child such a sophisticated phone and you don't know how to monitor it? I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be for learning purposes or just to get information. So why don't you check on the child's phone? So I still go back to the parenting aspect of it. Yes, we are not perfect. We are learning every day. But the child is really young. For children of that age, and what I've also heard and seen, these are things which this child has been doing this. And how come it's been this long before it's now out in the open? So there's a gap somewhere, a parenting gap somewhere. That's what I'm trying to say.
I agree.
There's a parenting gap somewhere.
Okay, so very quickly, I also want us to pull in the society.
Very quickly, solution is always an
solution.
So let me just give one quick one.
Yeah.
So somebody posted this, Moskeda, I don't know how to pronounce her handle, but she said something about Google Family Link. She said, parents, use the Google Family Link app on your children's phone. Google Family Link. You can block all apps, even text messaging. They can't install any app without your knowledge. You can even schedule to shut down their phone at any time. Yeah. It's easy to set up. It requires you opening a Gmail account for them. From there, you can sync your phone with theirs. So, I'm sure this is not the only tool.
My husband did this for all the. First of all, nobody owns a phone in my house. All phones are open. Anybody can use it at any time. And then there's the family link. So everybody's phone is linked. If you try to open an app, he gets the message and we begin to check, okay, what's that app all about and all of that. So there's some measures. There's also some measures you can put on WhatsApp. And I remember the time when my son had some conversations with some people. He had some WhatsApp groups he was involved in. And I went through, just did a random check. And I saw some messages. And I said, Annie, from this WhatsApp group, it's obvious that the conversations here are not really, I mean, it's not like anything, but really, these people, first of all, the language that they're using, they don't even use clear English, BRB, this and that. Do you want to end up not speaking English by the time you're done with this? There's some questions I asked him, was like, okay, you know what? I don't need to be on this group. And then he just deleted himself from the group. and just some checks. That conversation, like you said, is very, very important. Continuously updating, continuously also being the example. Because sometimes we have a lot of novice parents who are not paying attention to times of season or even updating themselves in terms of information and how they can continue to have conversations with the children with regards as they grow and as they're being exposed. It's already clear that in the world that they live in, exposure, my 3-year-old knows how to surf through. He knows the difference between YouTube Kids and YouTube. He knows the difference. So sometimes he's telling me, I want to go to YouTube. I said, no, this is for you, YouTube Kids. All of your what do they call them, are there. But let's quickly take some messages because our time is so far spent. Do we have messages? Alera, do you have any message?
I don't have one yet. So I was going to quickly add that one thing that parents need to put at the back of their mind is that when you hear about sexual predators, like that's the older ones, if you really look deep into where it started from when they were really young. Okay. So if you don't, curtail your children at the early stage in life, I mean, you're going to cause a social menace at the end of the day in years to come, because it's a ripple effect. Okay. So I have a comment here. Good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying Ways. Concerning the closure of the Chrisland school, I am in total support wholeheartedly. Due process has to be followed and it has to be done properly. So many things happen today in Nigeria which should not happen at all. We have poor parenting in Nigeria and we need to organize a seminar or have good schools where proper parenting is addressed. According to what Sister Elsie said, also, there are things that teenagers should not learn at this age. They should wait until they are mature before learning about these things. If not, they will be corrupt. Parenting is very important when raising a child. Sister Lera and Sister Elsie, you are welcome. We miss you. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Daniel.
Thank you.
That's very core because parenting, if you are not, if you're a parent and you're not paying attention, then a lot of things can go under.
A lot of things can go wrong.
Very important. Yes, Elsie.
A message here but no name says, good evening, ladies. This is indeed a disturbing but very necessary topic concerning children. My heart goes out to the little girl in this horrible situation, but let us also remember that the young boys involved also need help and counseling.
Absolutely.
There is no perfect parent, but we as parents also have to be very alert and observant concerning our children. Thank you. No name, but thank you very much. I like bringing the boy conversation into this because yes, absolutely. They need help.
I think the reason why they're not talking about the boys is because
it's what it is. We always focus on the girls.
I mean, the world. That's how the world is. Really.
That was one of the first things I even observed. I said, so where are the boys that were also involved in this? Because they too need help.
Of course,
they have been exposed, and only God knows what they've been through before this exposed them.
This is a very important memory that will not go anywhere.
Yeah, okay. So I have this comment from Raphael, and it says, every young child is full of energy and restless, but there is need to direct such energy or channel it towards positive and productive venture. There is time for everything in life, and we must instill good values in our children. The parents in question now are learning the rudiments of parenting in a very hard way.
Very hard.
Well, Raphael, it's really not easy to be a parent, but if you find yourself in a place where you have to parent, then you must get up to the challenge. You must equip yourself with the tools, with everything that, and then you must be the example that child needs to see.
This thing you're saying is really important because you know how so there's, I don't know if you know Robert Greene. He's an author that writes about health, mental health, and all of these things. Robert Greene says something like, we go to school to learn mathematics, we go to school to learn English. Why don't we go to school to learn? Yes, we don't make it, we should normalize it because nobody teaches you how to be a parent. You have to actively put that effort into learning and into, becoming a better person because you're bringing children into this world. So
absolutely. And on that note, we will be ending the conversation today. we will bring in the experts
Yes,
because there
please,
is
we
a
need
school of
them.
parenting that
Yes.
people need to know
Yes.
about, but
Yeah.
we'll bring them.
Yeah.
But thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Glory. Thank you, Alera. Thank you,
you.
Elsie, for making the show amazing today. All right. So before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at Ways Show Africa, and on Twitter, it's at Ways Show Africa 1. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our social media engagements. And remember to like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. If you missed today's quote, here it is again. If a child grows up in an environment infested with predators, he or she would have a hard time building healthy relationships in society their whole life. All right, so we'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.